John Brakey has shown how much incredible power a single individual can have. And if you'll give us an update on your legislation in Arizona, then we're going to have Mila and Peter and Anchor. Okay, so John, come on up and just welcome this guy. He's a true hero. Thank you, John.
Thank you.
Still zooming.
Yeah, we certainly are.
Still zooming. We're still having there.
All right.
And they have canceled the Oscars for this event. So.
Thank you very much. I'm not going to talk too long or anything, but I'm grateful to be here. And to end what Harvey said, I'm an activist, and activists acts. We make things happen. I'm very fortunate to be here with all of you because we get energy from each other as activists. And as a young man, I heard something that I've remembered all my life, and I tell people all the time what a great man John F. Kennedy was when he said that one person can make a difference and everybody should try. I live by that motto. I teach that. I'm out here as an activist, trying to get people to realize how to become a good activist. And I'm out here and I travel the country, I've been in 18 states, and I tell people that to learn the 7 C's, character, capacity, credibility, civility, I can call you bad names real nicely with civility, citizenship, country. But the most important one is to be courageous, to stand with your values, with facts, and stand up. I had to do that when I decided to go ahead and get involved in the Arizona Fraudit. And it was a Fraudit, is what it was. But I know that letting these people just roam around and say all these things, and for us on the left just to ignore them is not a solution. You have to engage, and that's what I did. And it was very, very hard because, I was called Bamboo Brakey, I was mocked, I was death threatened, I was assaulted twice, and not one bit of that ever bothered me. Not one bit of it. But, I'm not here to talk about that. What I'm here to talk about is what did we learn from the Fraudit. This is so important. We learned, me and a guy named Ken Bennett, and I want to tell you who Ken Bennett is. He was the president of the Arizona Senate for 4 years. He was Secretary of State of my state for 6 years. And we found ourselves in the same foxhole. And what were we fighting? Grifters. Parrot talkers, the best talkers and the worst producers. They don't go up in front of media. They do infomercials. And they lie. And they lie. And they're very good at manipulating people who want to follow an authoritarian leader like Trump, which we don't. We follow for values. We go ahead for other things. But anyway, to get right to it, me and this guy, Ken Bennett, got together and we wrote a bill. And we realized out of that audit, when we call it the Arizona Miracle, that our country, and mainly our state right now, we are going to wind up with elections that are 1, transparent, 2, trackable, 3, publicly verified, and 4th, with a ballot library. The ballot library is how you store ballots. All ballots that come in through an envelope, after they're separated and made anonymous by disconnecting, and when it drops in the box, we want to marry that ballot to the ballot image. We want ballot images to be released publicly. Listen, the actual act of voting is the secret process. Counting is a public process. We have a black box. I've been fighting that black box with Mimi Kennedy, a lot of other activists across this country. A black box is, you don't know how it works inside. We want a system that when your ballot goes to the machine, it takes a picture of it. That picture becomes a public record. We want the ballot and the ballot image married to each other. If you get the images, you add up your own precinct, you should have the right to say, hey, I want to take a look at a couple of these images and I want to match them up against the original because I want to be absolutely sure. Because democracy depends upon it. And why? How many people really realize that in 2020 that 80 million people did not vote in this country who could have? 80 million. And how many of those millions have joined the Mark Twain Party? That's the party that believes if voting made a difference, we wouldn't let you do it. We have to change that. You know, right now, 50 million Americans believe that Trump had his election stolen. Not true. We proved that in Arizona. Okay? We wound up with 364 more votes for Biden than Trump. Even though the people who were counting lost count, I watched them hand count them. I watched them take pictures of them. I watched them weigh the ballots, okay? And they bought a separate machine just to count them again. Do I believe they found 364? Yeah, I guess I do. But I know that they lost control because they were idiots. The guy who ran this thing, this audit, he was from Florida. And before he came over, somebody paid off his house for $400,000. He has 12 kids and he's 40-some years old, so you can tell he's probably a wingnut, which he was, okay? He made a movie, and he tried to hide in the movie, and guess what his name was? Anon, like QAnon, okay? You know, it's just really something else. But anyway, we have a bill called 2780 that me and Ken Bennett wrote. I got documents here. It has two different methods in it because, you know, in Maricopa County, they said they had an 80% turnout and our voter database was 2.6 million voters. We are the second largest county in the United States when it comes to elections. It wasn't 2.6 million people who could possibly vote. It was 2.85 million because they hid 285,000 people because they're getting ready to be pushed off the list. It's called the inactive list, but if they show up. So what does that do? It causes big conspiracies. All of a sudden we have precincts that have 100% turnout. How'd that happen? It's impossible, they say. Then they say, look at all these ghost voters. They claimed there was 93,000 ghost voters. Those ghost voters came off the inactive list. We're demanding that before an election, 10 days, they're going to have to release everybody who can vote, and then another list of who voted, not all your information, just your name and your address. If you're a voter who's a judge, well, we'll just put a blank there or whatever. But we're trying to take conspiracies off the table and use facts. So anyway, we think we got a really great chance, and we're hoping that if this bill passes, and it's not all the way there, but it's already passed the House, it's already in the Senate, it's already passed one committee, two more, it goes to the governor's desk to be signed. It looks good. Believe it or not, me getting involved with those Republicans, this is unbelievable. I didn't get one vote from the Democratic Party in the House. 31 votes came from Republicans. Right now, the Senate has 16 Republicans and 14 Democrats. I know that I have the 16 votes. Now, I'm working with Mimi and Progressive Democrats of America because what I really need is this thing to pass with really big partisan numbers. A lot of Democrats, a lot of Republicans, because what we are doing is that we went from a Fraudit, and now we're proposing the Arizona miracle that we never have to do a $9 million audit again, paid by Republicans, by the way. They only hustle $400 million nationally, okay? It's a grifter movement. It's awful to see what's happening. A lot of these grifters are like dope dealers. You take them off the corner, they bring another one right in, okay? It's just incredible. But if we pass this, we hope to be able to launch it nationally, because our country deserves elections that are transparent, trackable, publicly verified. In fact, elections are no good unless they're transparent, trackable, and publicly verified. It's really great to be here with a lot of great people. You can feel the energy of activism, to be here with Danny Sheehan, Mimi, Joel, and Harvey, and everybody here. I'm a very stressed person by my work, okay? Because the responsibility, and sometimes I have to make decisions. And I want you to know on my wall in my house, you know, when I get really stressed, I meditate. And I use the Lakota Prayer. And I just want to end with that Lakota Prayer. Great mystery, teach me how to trust my heart, my mind, my intuition, my inner knowing, the sense of my body, the blessing of my spirit. Teach me to trust these things so that I may enter my sacred space and love beyond my fear. Whoa, those are big words, aren't they? Loving beyond our fear. And thus walk in the balance with the passing of each glorious sun. I am glad to be here today and be with you all. Thank you very much.
Wow, this is a guy.